All right, we're going to talk about the Symbiote Spider-Man character release method, which is going to be Milestones. And this seems to be very different. Notable ones that we have in the past would be Coulson, Captain Marvel, Namor, Ghost Rider, and I believe also Mysterio. But I got to put this out here. I don't remember the Mysterio one at all. That was very forgettable in my opinion. Now, one of the things that we got to talk about first is why is Symbiote Spider-Man important? And the reason why he's important is his kit includes special mechanics that just work inside of Dark Dimension. And so a lot of people are feeling that Symbiote Spider-Man is going to be the key to finish the last 4 nodes on Dark Dimension 3. So we don't know. It's just speculation, but that is the fear, is that this character is going to be that important that he's going to be required. Now, I want to read this here before I show how different Symbiote Spider-Man is from the way, like, let's say Coulson was unlocked, is that right here, they did say that he's going to be milestone rewards up until March 11th, and then it says right here, be on the lookout for Spider-Man Symbiote to return to the recurring milestones in the future. So there was some clarification on what that meant, but we have to talk about this a little bit more because in the high roller, which happens daily, there's an opportunity to get 5 per day. And then Save the World, which is the campaign energy, which cycles through 2-day cycles. There's only 2, so not a lot. And so someone's done some great work. And this spreadsheet right here, where we can see the high roller right here, the difference between Coulson and Spider-Man is 10 and 5, and then Save the World is 7 and 2, and then World War is 10 and 2. So this is drastically different. And I also want to acknowledge that the unlock requirements for characters like Captain Marvel and Coulson are different. They were 180, where Symbiote Spider-Man was lowered to 100. And so it is going to be easier to unlock him, but to have an effective Spider-Man is still the same. I mean, they can unlock Spider-Man at 10 shards, and that wouldn't make a difference. But an effective Spider-Man is still going to be the same, whether it's at 100 unlock or 180 unlock. It's just you'll get to play with him early in U6, let's say. You can play with him early in U6. So this is interesting. Now, Reddit is on fire. And there's a couple of reasons why I think Reddit is on fire. It's because this is drastically lower right here, and the perceived that this is scopely tampering, that this is retaliation to the boycott, and that this is a massive backwards move. Now, typically in these games, and there's tons of Reddit posts. I mean, I saw half a dozen in the last 24 hours, at least. Maybe even a dozen different posts. The reason why this is a big deal is because typically in a game like this, progression moves forward and things become easier and we get more shards over time, and the power level. There's this inherent power creep, inherent movement and forward trajectory, and it's really hard to go backwards. And I think that was the big problem for a lot of players, even that were in the soft launch, in the beta, is that they went drastically backwards from going from soft launch to global launch. And this is the type of move that infuriates players right here. Going backwards is not a good feeling. Yesterday you got this, today you get less. It doesn't work that way. People don't want to take pay cuts. We want raises, not pay cuts. And the timing of this just seems really bad, in my opinion. And so there was a response by the community manager, Nick, and I'm a little bit frustrated because these messages are hard to find due to the lack of having a forum. Yes, they do have a blog post. They have in-game messaging, but it's hard to use them, because in-game messaging requires multiple languages and so on and so on. And I don't know why they don't do the blog post, but the blog post seems to be special on Only Friday. And I don't understand why this message wasn't on Friday's blog post. So we're going to read it together because it does address some of the issues with the massive cutbacks from the Coulson event to the Symbiote Spider-Man. It says, we released this Spider-Man Symbiote Milestone today and understand there's confusion around the rewards, with sentiment focusing on a comparison of the number of shards this milestone gives out to the amount given with the most recent Coulson milestone. The number of character shards for Symbiote Spider-Man currently available in the milestones are closer to that event of Mysterio. Now, Mysterio is not an important character. I just want to put that out there. Mysterio was not important then. He's not important now. Coulson has a very specific place in the game, and he was important inside of defense on Alliance Wars. So he was an important character that did a very important job. The same way that Symbiote Spider-Man is doing a very important job inside of the last 4 nodes, supposedly in Dark Dimension 3. After Mysterio ran the Coulson Milestone event, which granted significantly more character shards than previous milestones because there was a lack of sufficient war defense teams at that time. And I know that this is 100% true, and I know that the developers actually were worried about Alliance Wars becoming this crazy race. It was not fun. I did not like the Alliance War problem, and both the release of Asgardians and Coulson definitely shifted the defense. Basically, we were given 2 very strong defensive teams. You could also say that Marauders was a stronger defensive team, and AIM as well. But there was this time in Alliance Wars where it was just a race to who could finish first, and whoever spent the most money won, and it was not fun. Back then, our feeling matched that of the community, and the war felt like a sprint. This is true, and wasn't a great experience. This is true. Our aim was to accelerate the number of shards in Coulson's milestone to strengthen the Fury Shield war defense team, but in hindsight, we should have communicated this goal before the start of the event. And I'll be frank with you, yeah, we got a lot of free stuff with Coulson. Seems like they were generous with not only Captain Marvel, but with Coulson, which does not look like they're doing now with Symbiote Spider-Man. They've definitely gone stingy, and I think the problem I'm having is that they're calling this a milestone event. Maybe they should have called it something different, because it is different. It's a lot stingier, and it doesn't feel good to go backwards. Now with the Spider-Man Symbiote, we return to a reward structure closer to the previous milestones. Though we weren't clear on the duration of this new reoccurring flavor of the milestones. To be clear, this series of reoccurring milestones are returning 2 more times. And at its conclusion, the total possible number of Spider-Man symbiote shards from it will be more than twice that of Mysterio milestones. You can expect the next run sometime around the late March, early April. Each milestone event is intended to be a unique experience and will likely have some variance in rewards. I don't know. It's strange to me that this has to be screenshotted and put up on Imager. You know, this was obviously done on Discord, and there was also a Reddit post, which I found later. But as far as official messaging, it seems highly not good. And I've been saying this for a long time, that they don't have an official forums. And I understand that official forums require manpower to moderate and so on. But releasing it in random Discord servers and random Reddit posts seems very inefficient way of communicating something this important, because Symbiote Spider-Man is not Mysterio. Symbiote Spider-Man is a very important character for whatever Dark Dimension 3 is going to be. And a lot of people are having a lot of anxiety about this because the rewards are not as good. So I want to say 2 things, though. Symbiote Spider-Man, this release method right here will net me more shards than, let's say, like the way Karnak was. Like, if you're just a milestone player in Blitz like me, I don't Blitz hard. So I'm only going to get so many shards of Karnak this way. This particular event for me, I'm going to play this High Roller Save the World event just like I would normally. I'm not going to do anything special. I'm not going to spend more gold. I'm not going to do anything. And the number of shards that I get of Symbiote Spider-Man is just what I'm going to get. So free shards is free shards. And according to Cerebro, that over time, this is going to be here for not only this month, but 2 more times in the future. So the number of free shards I could get should be higher than a normal release. Now, I don't think this is going to sit well with people that are anxious, myself included, to get into Dark Dimension 3. And we're going to see what that is on Dark Dimension 3. But if Symbiote Spider-Man is going to be the key to finishing Dark Dimension 3, because the last 4 nodes are going to have a city trait requirement, that means we're going to have to do Spider-Verse or Defenders. And it really seems like the best way to do it, based off of the kits and without knowing what it's actually going to be like, is going to be this character. I'm just putting that out here. But this just seems like horrible communication and the wrong time when there's this heightened scrutiny of, is Scopely making things worse? Are we moving forward? Are we moving backwards? I don't think people are going to be happy with this. I think this is going to accelerate. This is just bad timing. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you just like gonna roll with this and get your shards over time? You figure free shards are free shards? Or are you really concerned about this this trend of things becoming increasingly more difficult to acquire? All right, guys, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.